How are you? こんにちは皆さん。お元気ですか? I'm going to talk about TOMOE. This name, TOMOE. In many animes, mangas, and even in game, you may hear this name, TOMOE. Well, today I'm going to explain what this TOMOE can mean. Well, there are three main meanings. And the first one is this image, this emblem called tomoe, or you can also call tomoe mon, like this tomoe mon, tomoe mon. Well, this mon, it means emblem, because these kind of images can be used in family emblem or in temple or in shrine. These are all Japanese style emblem. For example, there are many, I wrote in 3,1, but there are many types. For example, with 2, 3, 4, 5, even 9. So there are many types of this emblem. And this tomoe means perfect circle. Perfect circle is this tomoe means. So you don't know where to begin and where to finish, right? So this tomoe, perfect circle, is one of the meaning of tomoe. Do you know what is taiko? Have you ever heard of taiko? Taiko is Japanese instrument that is drum. Drum, very big circle, and with boom 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 boom, like this. Taiko, the very big one, and very traditional taiko. Well, in the taiko, the image can be used this tomoe. For example, I've got a DVD. This is called 17 Samurais. And this was the spectacular entertainment of taiko. And here, maybe you can watch this one. You see? Oh, here you can watch this image of tomoe. So in taiko, can use these kind of images. Now the second meaning of tomoe. Well, you know what is judo. Judo. We write like this, judo, and this is kanji. You know, do, this is the way, the street, or the path. So judo. Well, also karate do, aikido, like that, do. Well, this ju, here we pronounce ju, but we can also pronounce yawarakai. Yawarakai, it's very soft, very soft, or also very flexible. So flexibility. So judo, the way of the flexibility, or the path to the flexibility. Well, in judo, there's a technique, waza, called tomoe nage. Tomoe nage. This is the judo technique. Nagemasu, it means to throw. But the technique of this throwing is called tomoe nage. It's one of the technique of judo. The third, this is the woman's name, Tomoe Gozen. Tomoe Gozen. Well, Tomoe, this is the name, her name. Gozen, it's not a name. This is the title of honor that was given to Tomoe. This woman was born in 1157, and it is said to be died 1184, but it's not very sure, because sometimes they say that she survived longer, but we nobody knows it. So maybe she died in 1184 in the war. Well, she was a very, very beautiful woman with a fair skin and beautiful, beautiful faction, beautiful face with very long, long hair, black and long hair. So beautiful woman, but not only her beauty, but also her braveness. She was so strong and so good in in the battle. So she was very famous. Let me explain you about Onna Bugeisha. Onna Bugeisha. Well, like this. Onna, this is woman. Onna Bugeisha. Onna Bugeisha can translate like female samurai. Well, in the history of Japan, there were not so many Onna Bugeisha, but there are few of them, and one of the famous Onna Bugeisha was this Tomoe Gozen. Well, so this was the very early time, 1157, like that. So there was no pictures of her, actually. There was no pictures, but um, she was so beautiful woman, okay? And this Onna Bugeisha was the girls when they were born in the samurai family, and these girls could learn about how to use katana, how to use the archer like that to protect herself or to protect her family, because maybe uh, mm, mm, their father is in the battle like that. So this Onna Bugeisha was the girls who were born in samurai family, and they were taught in the art of how to fight. Well, usually men are much stronger than women because their bodies are bigger and their muscles are more stronger, much more stronger. So the women, Onna Bugeisha, used to use arch and arrow, and because that can maintain the distance. The distance was very, very important. And also Naginata, Naginata. This is not like a katana, normal katana, but Naginata was much longer, longer one, Naginata. So that can also was very, very that was very good to maintain the distance. So this is the way to fight Onna Bugeisha. When I saw this word Naginata, I remembered my mother, because my mother was saying us to my sister and me when she was at school. That she was just teenager, and she was at the women's school, and she was studying to be a teacher. But that was just in the war time, in the Second World War, and Japan was losing. So Japan was really losing, and there was some group of like a volunteer to fight with Naginata, but that was not obligation. And she told us, well, I was that member to practice Naginata because I just wanted to be, not, not, not to be. I didn't want to study so much. So I think it was much better to practice Naginata instead of studying. So that's why I was the member. So we said, oh, yeah. Well, that was her life in that age. But when my mother died, in that day, no, in that day, the next day, we found a notebook, very, very beautiful notebook. And that was kind of a diary, but not diary that my mother was writing, but That was a very beautiful book that her friends, her school friends, were writing for my mother, and they gave my mother that book. And she had that book, but we didn't know, my sister and I didn't know anything about it, but we just found it just before her death. And when we were reading that, my sister and I together, we cried a lot, because that was the many her friends were writing her. Thank you very much for your braveness. Thank you very much. Many things, and very long letter that was real, just like one book. So my mother was keeping that book as a treasure or her memory, and we just found it after her death, and we thought, oh, really, my mother must be very brave, and she was a very we thought, oh, she was very admiring. That was a beautiful moment for us, my sister and I. I think you are much younger than I think. So my recommendation is that you can speak with your parents or your grandfather, grandmother, and ask them how they lived, how was when they were young, like that, because it's very interesting to hear these kind of things. When they are not here, you cannot ask him anymore. So maybe you can, if you can now, please do it now. It's very good. Now we are going to see 6 anime example with this Tomoe name and 1 game. Okay? Well, when the parents name their daughter Tomoe with this kanji, because it depends on the kanji, can mean different way. But this Tomoe, maybe they want their daughter to be very beautiful, but not only beautiful, but very brave and very pure and nearly divine. Because you see, this Tomoe, this is perfect circle. And in the center of circle, so maybe they want their daughter to be a center of the world, and this daughter can influence people in very good way, like that. Maybe Tomoe means every kind of meaning like this. Well, the first character, Yukishiro Tomoe. Have you heard of it? Yukishiro Tomoe. Well, Yuki, this is snow. Yukishiro Tomoe. Rurouni Kenshin. She is one of the character of Rurouni Kenshin. Rurouni Kenshin. Well, Rurouni Kenshin is the anime. It's about Ronin. Ronin is a kind of samurai, but not this age that was in the Meiji. So now the samurai is not there, because Japan was modern. Japan became modern without samurai. So Ronin, it's like the samurai who is lost, like lost samurai. That is kind of Ronin. Being Rurouni Kenshin, and this main character was a real killer. He killed many people. But he met this girl, Yukishiro Tomoe, and that's gonna be the first love of him. And this Yukishiro Tomoe is very beautiful and very pure, very good person, but brave. And this woman was changing his mind. And so he was a killer, but a little by little, he began to think, why I kill people. Then, at last, he doesn't kill anymore. He fights, but only to save people, not to only to kill. He changed himself very much thanks to Yukishiro Tomoe. The next anime is called Rosem Maiden. Rosem Maiden. This anime is about the battle of antique dolls. So, and there's the character called Kashiwaba Tomoe. Kashiwaba Tomoe, this woman, but it's a doll. Kashiwaba Tomoe has got this name. So maybe you can imagine what kind of person, what kind of personality does she have in Rosem Maiden. The third anime that I'm going to talk about is Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica. Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica. Well, in Occidental name, it's like this. It's a little bit difficult because it's in Italian. Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Puella Magi Madoka Magica. Well, this anime is about the battle against the bad things in the world. Well, some girls becomes Mahou Shoujo. That is the girls who can use some kind of magic, but because their dreams had come true, so instead of that, they had to change to Mahou Shoujo, the girls with some kind of power, but they had to fight. So this is obligation that they have to find to save the world. So they have to fight against the humans' enemies. So this kind of story is Mahou Shoujo Madoka Magica. And here there's a very important person, Tomoe Mami. Tomoe Mami. Tomoe here, this is the family name. But when the author wanted her to name Tomoe Mami, maybe you can imagine this character is beautiful, but very brave and so strong too. The fourth anime, 4番目のアニメは大正野球娘。大正野球娘。Well, Taisho, this is the epoch. Now in Japan, we are in Reiwa. But before Reiwa, that was Heisei. And before Heisei, Showa, when I was born, Showa. And before Showa, that was Taisho. That the last part of Taisho, the last year of Taisho was Taisho 15, Taisho 15年. And that year my mother was born. And before Taisho, that was Meiji. So Taisho Yakyu Musume. So this is really the epoch of my grandmother. Taisho Yakyu Musume. So it was in that epoch, the girls were playing baseball. So it was a kind of strange things. Well, Yakyu is baseball. Baseball in Japan, people love Yakyu. And musume means daughter. But here it means girls in general. So Taisho Yakyu Musume, it is called Taisho Baseball Girls. And here there's a character called Tsukubae Tomoe. So Tomoe with this name. And Tsukubae, her family name is quite beautiful. Tsukubae, this means the reflection of the moon. So poetic. Tsukubae Tomoe. And in anime, this girl is very, very good at all kind of art, martial arts. Tsukubae Tomoe with this name. The fifth anime, 5番目、日暮らしの泣く頃に、日暮らしの泣く頃に。Well, this anime was old, but there are many remakes, and so there are many remakes, and the last one is this year or next year, like that. 日暮らしの泣く頃に. And here, there's a girl of 29 years old, Minai Tomoe. Minai Tomoe with this name. She is a police inspector and very, very good one. So, and she works very, very hard. So, chief police inspector. The sixth and the last one of anime, so 6番目の最後のアニメは、Judo sanka. Judo sanka. Judo sanka. Well, judo, you know, judo. This kind of sport, the way, the path to the flexibility, judo. And sanka, this means the song of the praise. The song of the praise. So Judo Sanka is the anime of judo. In Japan, there are many animes. For example, animes about football, animes about volleyball, animes about basketball, animes about tennis, like that. So maybe the children want to practice that kind of things. I think it's a very good idea. And Judo Sanka, this is about judo. So maybe if you like judo, you might like this anime. But this anime is very old. It's about 1974. So it's quite old one. Well, here, there's the character called Tomoe Teruko. Well, here Tomoe is the family name. Tomoe Teruko. This means to bride. Tomoe Teruko. Well, Tomoe Teruko is a widow. And she is the mother of the main character. And she's a little bit a very strong character and a little bit severe. And she herself has got 5th dan of Shodo. Shodo is the art of writing with this the pencil or the brush. Like, so this is one of the art of writing. So she's got 5th dan of Shodo. Tomoe Teruko with this name, so very strong person. Well, I want to talk about the game, very new one, because it released in July 2020. 2020年7月のゲームです。ゲーム It's like a game. Okay? Game in katakana. The title is Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Tsushima. This is the title, not in Japanese, so Ghost of Tsushima. And here, there's a woman called Tomoe. Tomoe. This woman is very beautiful and very good at archery. Very, very good. This girl is called Tomoe. And this was the real story in 1274. There was an invasion of the Mongolian invasion in the Tsushima Island. So this is historical. Very famous and good game. Ghost of Tsushima. I think it's a very good way to learn Japanese history like this too. Today we learn about Tomoe, and I think we can learn lots of culture, Japanese culture, thanks to anime and games like that. If you know more more character called Tomoe, maybe you can write in commentary. And if you watched these kind of animes, maybe you tell me, I watched this and I liked it, or I didn't like it, like that. And if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please subscribe my channel. And if you share my videos with your friends, that will be very, very nice for me. So, thank you very much. 今日もここまで見てくださってどうもありがとうございます。では、チャンネル登録といいねボタン、そしていろいろなアニメについてのコメント、もしともえさんっていう方を知っていたりとか、いろんなコメントを下に書いてください。どうもありがとうございました。じゃあ、またね。バイバイ。